are taking a look at another Doctor Who B&M set. This time it is another History of the Daleks set, which is the Chase set, based on the episode of the same name, and not the TV show that your gran loves starring Bradley Walsh. This episode was released in the year of 1965, where the world had seen better days. Yeah. Moving back to the set, the two Daleks come in this very familiar window-style packaging, with a small image of the TARDIS on the front and the TARDIS doors on the side, and of course, that typical little window giving us a small view of the figures from above, with some information of what figures are inside. The back of the set, of course, is the same as the other previous Dalek sets, with a wonderful look at the Daleks that are contained within this set, and a brief little synopsis of the episode, and some really interesting insight into the history of these props. I'll definitely give it a read. It mentions the movie Daleks. Now, upon freeing these beauties from the box, we can see that they come with a lovely backdrop diorama of the jungles of Mechanus, which was seen in the episode. Now, this diorama continues the trend of Easter eggs and details, such as this creepy eye thing peering at us from the corner, and some really nice sort of vine overgrowth effect on the bottom, as well as this poor unfortunate dead body. No, bugger off you! There we go. Now moving on to the figures, boy what a gorgeous pair these are. Let's take a look at them then, and take a look at the Dalek Guard first. Now at first glance this guy appears to be a repainted Dead Planet Dalek, but really he isn't that. He's actually quite special, being a repurposed movie prop, and also one hell of a rare figure, previously coming out in the Sound Effects Dalek wave. The aforementioned movie Daleks being a character exclusive pack we'll take a look at some point in the future. There's a couple of differences which help this guy to stand out from his Dead Planet counterpart, namely in the colouring. The spheres are a darker blue than on the Dead Planet counterpart, and on the main body, instead of that lovely bright silver, we get this almost sort of bluish silver, plus no line to distinguish the prop number. There's also the updated dome lights, which carry on from these Daleks up until the early 70s. The rings around the torso are a lovely gold colour, which helps to contrast the silver blue colour and make it, again, pop, while the head dome is also a lovely metallic blue, which just looks gorgeous, honestly. The same silvery blue colour carries on onto the Daleks' arms, the plunger arm and the gun arm, with it being quite obvious here. The gun mould is also new, looking quite battered and worn, which I imagine would happen to the props if you were used in a film and then a TV show within months. There's some small paint bleeds here and there, which I don't really mind, considering it's a rare Dalek that I'm finally managing to get, so I'm happy nonetheless. Next up we have the Drone, who isn't all too special for Dalek figure, but is still quite an exciting release nonetheless. Similar to the Guard Dalek, this guy might appear to be a slightly repurposed Dead Planet Dalek, but again there are actually a couple of differences that help him to stand out from said Dead Planet Dalek. The elephant in the room of these changes is the slats that have been now added around the Dalek's body, which originally I thought were just some fancy change to update the Daleks, but no, they're actually meant to be solar panels, an upgrade of what we saw on the Daleks from the Dalek invasion of Earth. Yeah, weird. Thankfully, we see the return of that lovely bright sort of popping silver as seen on previous releases like the Dead Planet Dalek as well as the Dalek invasion of Earth Dalek. The silver continues onto the gun, which is the same mold as other Dalek releases. More subtle changes include the changing colour of the Dalek's main body, which is now a lighter grey compared to the dark grey of the Dead Planet Dalek. Sadly, this change doesn't help contrast the silver on the body nearly as much, but still it's a nice change nonetheless. I also believe it might be accurate, though again it's hard to pinpoint images from the set of Doctor Who back in 1965, so that one's left up to audience speculation. Needless to say though, there's some really lovely wire mesh detailing on the new slats. The eye stalk now features lesser rings, as well as a brighter colour for the eye stalk rings. This lack of matching colour between the hemispheres on the skirt and the eye rings actually comes as a result of the hemispheres being repainted constantly to make sure that the props looked fresh. As is standard with these Dalek sets, each Dalek has a different sized iris. The lack of small iris on the Guard Dalek / the movie Dalek prop is actually accurate, as the movie Dalek props didn't have this feature, whereas the Drone Dalek prop, which belonged to the BBC, had the hexagonal shapes fitted in the eye stalk, allowing it to shrink and increase at will, as seen in Power of the Daleks, of course. Some more small differences between each Dalek actually include that one has a matte eye stalk, the other with a gloss, and one has a matte plunger, while the other has a gloss plunger. Oh, and one quick thing that I noticed on these guys, on their bases, they have no scuff marks, Which means, after all this time, they've finally gone and bloody done it. They managed to use Dalek props without damaging them, yeah! With all that out of the way, it's time for articulation. The Daleks, just like every other Dalek can do a 360-degree rotation with their head, with their eye stalks being able to move at a roughly 90-degree angle, of course. Their arms can go up and down, as well as do this sort of 360-degree rotation thing. Last but not least, the gun arm can go from side to side, as well as all around too, of course. But without further ado, that is the chase set done and dusted. This is a bloody wonderful set to pick up, not only because it's more Daleks, but because of the Dalek variants seen in it, especially that guard Dalek. He's incredibly sought after and incredibly rare Dalek, last seen in the sound effects wave. So if you can pick up this wave, then I definitely would recommend doing so. However, as is standard with the B&M sets, particularly the Dalek ones, some guy called Jerry, who is a scalper, has probably gone and bought it and sold it on eBay for an extortionate price, so if you want to pick this one up, do beware, it's going to be at a raised price. But either way, that has been Terminator Plays, doing another Doctor Who History of the Daleks set review. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye!